These machines are so big, they make skyscrapers look like Lego, and they actually exist. This mountain eater isn't hype. It's a bucket wheel excavator the size of a skyscraper laid on its side, purpose-built to chew through earth non-stop. Imagine a rotating wheel studded with massive steel buckets, each scoop ripping into rock and soil, then lifting and dumping the load onto conveyor belts that carry the material away in a steady river. It's industrial digestion: bite, lift, move, repeat, hour after hour, day after day. What makes this class of machine jaw-dropping isn't just the scale, it's the efficiency. Instead of fleets of trucks and excavators shuttling back and forth, one continuous system mines, moves, and sorts material in a single flow. The result is a surreal sight. The ground itself seems to slide into the machine and disappear. Operators don't drive it in the usual sense. They guide a slow, deliberate creep forward as the wheel methodically gnaws through layers of earth, carving terraces into open-pit mines. These giants are engineering puzzles brought to life. Thousands of tons of steel have to stay stable while the wheel spins, conveyors flex, and the whole structure inches along on tracks. Power demands are enormous, control systems must be precise, and maintenance crews treat it like a living organism, constantly monitoring stress points, bearings, and the teeth that actually bite into the ground. The teeth dull, get swapped, and the feast continues. Most of these machines come from specialized heavy industry builders like Takraf, and they're designed for decades of work in massive open-pit operations. When one of these beasts is active, it doesn't feel like mining anymore. It feels like watching geology happen in fast forward.
2. This metal beast can lift a city block.
When it comes to raw lifting power, few machines command respect like the towering mobile crane. And at the top of that food chain stands the legendary Liebherr LTM 11-1200 9.1, a machine so powerful it can hoist loads heavier than a commercial airplane engine. This isn't just a crane. It's a 9-axle rolling skyscraper built to dominate mega construction sites. When it arrives, traffic stops, roads close, outriggers extend like steel legs, anchoring thousands of tons of precision engineering into the ground. Then the telescopic boom rises, stretching high enough to place massive wind turbine blades, industrial components, or entire bridge sections into position. What makes this beast extraordinary isn't just lifting capacity, it's control. Every movement is calculated down to millimeters. Operators sit in advanced control cabins, managing counterweights, boom angles, and load dynamics with surgical precision. One wrong shift could mean disaster, so the engineering behind stability systems is just as impressive as the strength itself. At full extension, the boom can reach heights that rival 60-story buildings. And yet, despite its monstrous size, it's road legal in modular configuration, able to travel between job sites and reassemble like industrial Lego. In the world of heavy lifting, this machine doesn't just move steel and concrete, it moves entire skylines.
3. The largest vehicle ever to touch Earth.
Calling it a vehicle almost feels unfair. This thing is more like a moving building. The Crawler Transporter is widely considered the largest self-powered land vehicle ever built, designed to carry entire rockets from assembly buildings to launch pads without shaking them apart. When it rolls, the ground doesn't just feel it, it knows it. Each trip is a slow-motion parade of brute force and delicate control. The transporter crawls at walking speed because its cargo is priceless and fragile, towering space launch, systems that must arrive perfectly level. Hydraulic systems constantly adjust each corner to keep the platform steady, even over uneven terrain. From the outside, it looks unstoppable. On the inside, it's a ballet of sensors, motors, and human judgment. The scale is absurd in the best way. Its tracks are so massive that each shoe weighs as much as a small car. The platform on top is wide enough to park a house on, and the machine itself weighs thousands of tons before it even picks anything up. Yet despite that bulk, it's engineered for finesse, capable of fine adjustments measured in fractions of a degree to protect delicate rocket structures. Built to serve the launch complex at Kennedy Space Center, this rolling colossus has quietly enabled some of humanity's most iconic moments in space exploration. Rockets get the glory, astronauts get the headlines, but without this ground-shaking giant, many historic launches would never have made it to the pad. This is what largest vehicle on Earth looks like when it actually has a job to do.
4. The monster that can dig a tunnel through hell.
This machine doesn't just dig, it devours the Earth from the inside out. The Tunnel Boring Machine, or TBM, is a subterranean leviathan designed to chew through solid rock, clay, and gravel, while humans follow safely behind it. At the front is a spinning cutter head the size of a house, studded with hardened steel teeth that grind through geology that took millions of years to form. One of the most famous monsters of this kind was built by Herrenknecht, the go-to name when cities need tunnels under rivers, mountains, and dense urban centers. These machines are custom-built for each project, meaning every TBM is a one-off titan engineered to survive the exact hellscape of rock pressure, groundwater, and temperature waiting underground. As the cutter head advances, the machine does 3 jobs at once: excavates the tunnel face, removes spoil through internal conveyor systems, and installs concrete lining segments to hold the tunnel open. It's like building a subway while eating the mountain in front of you. Workers inside the TBM operate in a moving underground factory, surrounded by hydraulics, sensors, and kilometers of cables and pipes that keep the beast alive. The scale is hard to grasp until you see people standing next to the cutter head, looking like ants beside a circular wall of metal teeth. These machines can bore tunnels wide enough for multi-lane highways, rail systems, or massive water channels, and they do it with surgical precision, often passing beneath historic buildings without cracking a single brick. When a TBM goes to work, the ground above stays calm. Below, an industrial monster is carving new geography in the dark.
5. The floating giant that moves entire oil rigs.
Out at sea, where waves casually toss around ships the size of apartment blocks, there exists a floating machine so powerful it can pick up entire offshore oil platforms in a single lift. Meet the oceanic colossus known as Pioneering Spirit, a catamaran-style heavy-lift vessel built specifically to remove and install oil and gas platforms that weigh as much as small skyscrapers. What makes this ship absurdly impressive is the way it works. Instead of cranes dangling loads from above, it slides underneath the platform structure itself. Massive lifting beams then rise from the hull, gripping the platform's topside from below. In one controlled motion, thousands of tons of steel are lifted clear of the ocean. No swinging loads, no dramatic crane arcs. Just a calm, physics-defying rise from the waves. The engineering challenge here is next level. The ship has to stay stable while handling weights that could crush conventional vessels. Computer-controlled ballast systems constantly pump seawater in and out of internal tanks to keep the vessel perfectly balanced as the load transfers from ocean floor to floating hull. From above, it looks slow and serene. Under the surface, it's a high-speed battle of forces, pressures, and precise timing. Built and operated by all seas, this floating giant has changed how offshore platforms are installed and decommissioned. Jobs that once took weeks of risky crane operations can now be done in hours with far less danger to crews and equipment. When this ship lifts, the ocean itself seems to pause and watch. Imagine an entire factory that never shuts down, and now imagine it rolling slowly across the ground while it works. That's what a mobile conveyor bridge, MCB, is, a moving industrial ecosystem designed to take material straight from the mine face and carry it away in one continuous, unstoppable flow. No trucks, no traffic jams, just steel, belts, and motion. These machines are often paired with bucket wheel excavators, forming a synchronized mining organism. The excavator bites into the earth, and the conveyor bridge receives the spoil immediately, transferring it across massive belts to dumping systems or spreaders miles away. The result looks unreal. The ground seems to pour into a mechanical river that never runs dry. It's not a vehicle so much as a roaming production line. One of the most advanced systems of this type was engineered by ThyssenKrupp for large open-pit operations. The structure itself can stretch hundreds of meters, supported by multiple crawler units that distribute its mind-blowing weight. Even at a crawl, the machine's constant movement reshapes landscapes over time, carving valleys where hills once stood. What's wild is the coordination required to keep it alive. Sensors monitor belt tension, structural flex, and alignment as the entire factory creeps forward. Crews perform maintenance on moving components the size of houses, swapping rollers and reinforcing joints without stopping the flow of material. Downtime costs millions, so the machine is designed to keep breathing even while being repaired. When you see this beast at work, it doesn't feel like construction or mining anymore. It feels like watching an artificial organism migrate across the land, endlessly feeding, endlessly moving, endlessly transforming the terrain. When people talk about giant ships, they usually mean cruise liners with pools and restaurants. But the real monsters of the ocean are container ships, floating walls of steel that quietly move the world's economy. One of the most famous examples is the Ever Given, an ultra-large container vessel so enormous it can carry tens of thousands of shipping containers in a single voyage. From the dock, it looks like a city skyline drifting across the water. Containers stack higher than office buildings, forming endless corridors of steel boxes in every direction. Each one holds something different: cars, food, furniture, electronics, entire supply chains packed into a single floating platform. When this ship docks, ports transform into industrial anthills with cranes racing to unload a small nation's worth of cargo. What's mind-blowing isn't just the size but the logistics. The weight distribution has to be calculated with insane precision. Stack the wrong containers in the wrong place and the ship's stability is compromised. Navigation becomes a game of millimeters, especially when these giants squeeze through narrow waterways or maneuver into crowded harbors. Even a slight miscalculation can turn a routine voyage into a global headline. Built by Imabari Shipbuilding, ships in this class represent the peak of modern maritime engineering, designed for efficiency, endurance, and the brutal realities of open ocean travel. They aren't glamorous, they don't show off, but without these steel cities at sea, the modern world's shelves would go empty fast. This isn't just a ship, it's global trade in motion.